All right. So good evening, everyone. Here we have taken 3 days covering HTML, and today is the fourth day. Yeah. So we're going to cover a few more tags. Then we introduce CSS. Now, in case you need to learn about more tags, in case you want to learn yeah, so just type in w3schools.com. When you come here, you'll see, you click on tutorials, then you'll find different, they have very many languages that they are teaching or they help you to learn. Now just click on non-HTML. Then after that, you'll be able to see like different topics here that are laid out very well. Yeah, so another advantage with this is that you can practice online. You can practice from there. For example, I want to learn about HTML paragraphs. When I click on try it yourself, it loads another, it gives me like a text editor. Then this is like a web browser, like where you see. So in case I change something from here, maybe I add another paragraph and I say paragraph, say added paragraph, and I close it, then click on run, then you will see the result here. Yeah, so W3 Schools, it is a very good resource, especially for someone who's just starting, because they make it easier. Like it's good for a beginner, they make it easier for you to understand. Yeah, then another resource I would recommend is called MDN, that is Mozilla, it's from Mozilla Developer Network. Yeah, so when you type in developer.mozilla.org, or you just search for MDN or Mozilla Developer Network, like that, you come to this website. Yeah. Now on this website, click on technologies, then you see the different technologies on which they have tutorials for. Yeah. So they have for HTML, they have for CSS, JavaScript, graphics, HTTP, APIs, browser extensions, and math ML. Yeah, that is math machine learning. Yeah. So click on HTML. Then now it's going to give you it's going to give you like a guide of different tags. Now this one is very good because it is so much updated and it gives all the information. Unlike W3 schools, make it easier for you to learn. First, this one is a little bit technical because they go in detail. They go in detail. For example, if I click on HTML basics, then they are going to take me to a page. And now this one needed to be translated. Yeah, so I just clicked here. When it brings a pop-up for you to translate it to English, then you'll be able to understand what's going on. Yeah, but for them, they go in detail. Yeah, it's kind of technical, but it goes in detail of each and everything. Yeah, so those are the two resources that I recommend: W3 Schools, then this Mozilla Developer Network. We said click on technologies, then you go to HTML. Yeah, then here translate the page to English. Yeah, so that you can understand what is there. Yeah, like this. HTML basics, then now they can tell you. Yeah, they detail to you. So this one goes in detail, but it's also a good resource. Now, the tags that we've been talking about, some are new, others are outdated, like they were removed. What removed them? There is it's like a big organization that regulates web technologies, and it is called W3C or W3 Constium or Web Constium. Yeah, so when you visit this page, it is w3.org. You just type in w3.org. You'll come to this page. Then you're able to see, for example, this one of cheat sheet. It will show you cheat sheets of different languages. or cheat sheet of HTML5, then it's from here that you'll be able to know whether a tag is still on or it's outdated. Now, the only thing we're going to use this for is we're going to validate our code. Yeah, I'm going to explain to you what validate means. So come to w3.org, then go to validators. Now, validating your code means that you're checking whether there are some errors or warnings. Now, for HTML, if there is an error, if the error is in maybe about you are inserting an image and you put a wrong URL, there the image will not show. But there are some things that you can miss carelessly. For example, you forget to cross a tag. These are some of the things that this can help you to identify. Yeah, so you can validate by putting in the URL, like an address. So yeah, even if you put address over a page, like maybe www.google.com, some are protected, they can't be run into this. When you click on check, then it will go and check that URL. Then you can also validate by uploading a file. So you click on choose file, then upload it, or by typing in directly. So we're going to use this one, validate by direct input. Then I'm going to come here and I copy one of the code, maybe in our gallery. You remember the first page we built, it was a gallery on the first day. So I'm going to copy all of it and I check whether there were some warnings or mistakes that I made. So I'm going to paste the whole code here, then click on check. Yeah, so now it takes some time, then it brings for me the result. So these are warnings, you can see. Yeah, some of them, they may look very many, but you just work on like one line and they will reduce from 35 to maybe 10. And it can even highlight for you where you had made a mistake. Yeah, so now I can go to the first one and I try to read. Some of them are not so direct, but at least, yeah. So this one is saying the background attribute on body element is obsolete. Yeah, this one means it is outdated. Remember, I kept on telling you this, that we've not yet started CSS, but what we're doing is no longer being recommended. So you can see that it complained about that and it gave me a solution. Use CSS instead. Yeah, then it complained about the center element is also outdated, telling me to use CSS instead. Then the attribute height not allowed on element table at this point. So now I can click on this, then I get to see where exactly the problem is. So when I'm writing a table, I don't need to put height. So if I go back, if you fix, you will see that the number of errors are going to reduce. Maybe if I could look for that table, just a minute, let me just go through. It is here. Height is not allowed. Yeah, then the other ones that require CSS, we're just going to leave them because we're just going to get started with CSS. Then I go check again. When I go to the total number, now they have reduced. One is gone. Yeah, then most of the ones we left with, use CSS instead, use CSS. Yeah, we're going to ignore those ones. Then this one is telling me that IMG element must have alt attribute, except under certain conditions for details. Then there's an alt attribute that that is used by in case an image is not displayed, which text should be displayed. Yeah, so that is the one that is recommending. Yeah, so okay, I can go back to this. Yeah, now when I go back to like my code and I fix all the issues that they are trying to mention, then it brings no error. Maybe let me try with one that can be easily fixed. Yeah, this one, we wrote it last time. I want to check for its validation and I see the errors that I'm going to get. Yeah, so click on check. We give it like less than 1 minute. Now I have very few. They are just 5. And one is saying option without attribute label must not be empty. So it doesn't allow that. I'm going to go and work on it. Duplicate ID country. I need to remove it. The first occurrence of ID was here. The value for attribute of the label must be ID of non-hidden form control. Then the value, yeah, so it's mostly complaining about this, and I can see them here on line 27 and also line 37. Yeah, then line 63. So I'm going to first fix these two, line 27 and line 37. So I'm going to come here. I look for line 27. So it's saying this is duplicated. So let me just call it country. Let me remove this. I think it is used somewhere else. Then also it does not allow empty option like this. I remove it. Now I'm very sure I'm left with like one issue. That is on line 63. Okay. Let me check. Line 63 shall look for the issue. Input list countries, name country, ID country. For country. Okay, let's leave that one. Then we just look at another one. This for message, it is missing an ID. So that is line 80. On line 80, we have 4. This is send us a message. So it has to be attached to this. Yeah, so I put ID, then I call it message. It should be the same as this. Yeah, save. Now I'm going to be left with like 1 or 2 warnings. So I'm going to remove all this, then I check again. Yeah, now you can see that I'm left with just 1. So in case you, it is on line, let's go and fix it also. Line 37. Yeah, so line 37 for color, then we're missing an ID here. ID of color. Yeah. Then we copy and go back again. So now here we're not wasting time because we don't want to have errors. Like we don't want to have issues in our writing. Now you can see that I've fixed everything, and now it is showing me document checking completed, no errors or warnings to show. Yeah, so that is very good. You should always validate your code so that you don't go away with that. You don't publish a website that has warnings or errors or issues. So now that means the code you've written is very clean and it is up to date. It's not having the tags that are outdated. It's not having any issues. Yeah, so this is one of the validators that you can use. There are also others, but I recommend you to always use this one, which is from the W3C. Yeah, the one that regulates web technologies. Yeah, so I hope that was so helpful to you. Now we can continue with today's content. Yeah, so that has been validation, how you validate your code. Then now we're going to see a few of more tags in HTML. Does anyone have a question before we move on? You can send a question in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask. Anyone? Okay, so if you don't have questions, then yeah, let's move on with today's content. Yeah, so we're going to continue covering a bit more HTML tags. Yeah, then after that we introduce CSS. Yeah, it's not going to take too long. So I have this empty file. Yeah, okay, it's not empty, but I've not yet typed anything here. Yeah, then I'm going to be using this. I'm going to be using Edge to validate, just to be sure that it is the file that is being opened. I can first say hello world, just any text, save. Yeah, it's working well. Yeah, though I'm going to use it in full. Yeah, so now let's cover more codes, more tags. One of the tag that I'm going to talk about is navigation. Now you can see when every time you visit a page or every time you visit any website, you will see it having like home, about us, contact us. When you click on like home, you receive like the first page. When you click on contact us, it can load another page that is having some different information. When you click on about us, it can load also another page. So we want to create that navigation, but it's not going to be beautiful the way you see it on our websites because it is beautified with CSS, which we've not yet covered yet. Yeah, so we're just going to create the structure. So it uses what they call a nav tag. That's navigation. Then you can put your pages here by using the anchor tag, like the way we link to other things. Yeah, so that's how you create it. Then you add items here. So you can say home. Then after home, we have href. Then maybe you have about us. Then you have contact us. Yeah, let's say we just have those three. Now what is left is that you're supposed to add a link to that page that you're talking about. If it is home page, where is the home page? So here you can just put hash to just refresh that same page in case you are on index.html. Yeah. So or I can type in again index.html. Then when I go to about us, then I need to create that page called about us. Then you type in about us.html, the way you created it. Then if you're linking also to contact us, you type in contact us.html, but you need to have all these pages created in the same folder like here. Yeah, but I don't have them here, but I guess you get it. Yeah, so when we try to check on our website, now you can see that we have home, about us, contact us, and they are all links. They are linking to those pages, but now they are not existing. I'm not going to click on them. Then now going back here, that character, just to separate them, just to make them look organized. Yeah, nothing big, just making them look organized. We save. Yeah, then when you come here, you can see that at least now it shows. So that is the navigation bar. Yeah, it's not beautify, it's not what, but that's how we can create a navigation bar. Yeah, then I'm going to remove this because I don't want to have broken links for the pages which are not there. I'm just going to put hash. Hash means that if I click on it, it will just refresh. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so that is navigation. Then now we're going to talk about another one, and it is called, in case you want to type, for example, I have heading one, and maybe this is like you want to enter an editable text, like something that someone can edit, like a text that someone can edit, the end user can edit from there. It's what we want to create. So here you can see it is having enter your name. This time around, it's not a text box like what we saw the other time, because the text box will just show you where to input the text. But now here, I just want to have a text, but the one I can click and I start editing and I replace it. So when we come here, you can see that here I have enter your name, but when I try to double click, it's not editable. Like I can't edit it. So how do I make it editable? I'll come to any tag where that one exists. Then I say content editable is equal to true. Now that means I'm giving like the user to edit this content. So when I click on it, now it becomes editable. So I can enter my name. When I'm done, I click somewhere else. Yeah, so that is editable. Yeah, that is editable element. Like I can edit this element. So you visit many websites, not many, but a few, especially those that do kind of graphics design that can allow you to exchange anything or to replace the content with this. Yeah, so that is one of the tags. Now, like I told you, we cannot cover all the tags. You have to go and look out for them. We cannot cover up all the tags. Yeah, so another one that I'm going to talk about, it's called, in case, it's called commenting. Yeah, so comments are very important as you're writing code because they help you to remember certain things. Yeah, so you can comment on maybe here you want to sorry about that. You want to show that this is a navigation bar, just to remind you that this is a tag that does navigation bar. You can comment something on top. This is how they write an HTML comment. Yeah, like that. You write this less than symbol, exclamation mark, then two icons. Then you type here the content in the middle. Like this is a navigation bar. Then you cross it with this. Yeah. Why do we cross it? In case you don't cross it, it's going to comment out all the code. And when all the code is commented out, whichever code is commented out, it is not being read by a web browser. Yeah. What am I talking about? For example, just imagine I have a paragraph here. And I say this paragraph is going to be commented out. Yeah, I save this, then I check it here. So here it's now showing this paragraph is going to be commented out. Okay, now let me go back. I come here and I say I don't need this paragraph. What I'll do, I'll just put it within a comment. I start like that, double click, and I type like less than exclamation, then two icons, then I can put just some space. So I have to show where the comment should end. So if I just stop here, the whole page is not going to be showing because now some very important tags have not been included. So I have to come here at the end of the paragraph. Again, I type those two, then I cross like that. So now you can see that it is the one in green. Yeah, so the comment is the one in green. Now, when I go back to my page, it has gone away. Yeah, so that's how you comment. Yes, then lastly, about tags, there's what they call dividing the document into different sections. When you divide the document into different sections, one, it makes it easier for you to style it with CSS, like the way we're going to see it today. Then it makes it easier for you to even navigate. Yeah. So what am I talking about? There are different tags that do sections within the HTML. Now, there's one that does just a container. For example, I may want to put this navigation bar into one container just for some reasons. One of the reasons I've told you, it's about styling. In case I want to style my navigation bar in a certain way. So I'm going to cut this code. Then I use this div. So div means division, like you're having a certain division. Now, when I check my page, there is no like I'm not going to see any difference. Yeah, but when it comes to me using and styling, it will become very easy for me to select the whole of this navigation bar. Why? Because it is in a certain container. So most of the websites we're going to visit, they are going to be wrapped around different div tags. And when we start writing CSS, we're going to use this tag a lot because it makes it easier for us to edit, to style containers, like something which is wrapped around a container becomes easy to style. And then another tag that does sections, it's called section, a section tag. Now, when you have a very big website, for example, you want to have just one page where there is home, again, there is about us, there is contact us, but on one page, but someone is scrolling a lot to find that. But I want to put it on a navigation bar, then they go there. Yeah, what you do, for example, your about us, instead of going to another page, we're going to create our about us below here. So here, let me just put like an horizontal line with HR, like that. Then now I'm going to use H1 and I say, this is a section 2. Okay, about us. Yeah, but now when I come to the page, it's not scrolling. Okay, I'm scrolling, but again, the content is not a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a very big image here just to separate them. Yeah, so let me go here. Separate them. Yeah, I happen to have some images here saved in a certain folder called images. Then I'm going to get a bigger image background. Then let me go with this. Yeah, that kind of image. So let me check here. Now you can so you make different sections within your page. So you can say this is let me call this home. So I'm going to put H1. I call it home. Yeah, so whichever, like from here up to, let's say up to before the image, before the image, this is going to be in a section called home. So I'm going to say section. Yeah, then I put everything between that section. Yeah, now my first section is running from there up to here. Then I'm going to create another section that is going to wrap around about us. Yeah, so using section tag, section. Then yeah, this is about us. Then we can have more content down here in about us. Maybe I can also insert the image, some other image. Source. Then I can go to images. Let me use that grayish. So now when I come back, you can see that now my page is getting too long. Yeah, like that. And it is, if someone is going through, it becomes hard, but for you want it to have one page. But we want to make it navigable. I click on about us, it automatically goes to about us. Yes. Now we are done creating section. Yeah, the first section is this. Then we've left the image and this to be just there without a section. Then we also have this section. Now, all you need to do is to attach an ID to your sections. So I can say ID is equal to home, like that. Then also here, I attach an ID of about us. So once you have attached an ID, any link, you can tell a link to go to that particular ID. For example, here, I can say, please, when someone clicks on home, go to the section that has ID home. So that hash should be included to indicate that it is going to an ID. Then this one is going to an ID called about us. It's going to a section with an ID called about us. So now let's go back here to our page. So when I click on about us, automatically comes to this. So if here I add, let me come here and I add that goes back. So a anchor tag href, and I'm linking back to home. Yeah, then I can put please go to a section with ID called home. Then we come back here. I click on home, it comes here. Click on about us, it comes here. So it is one page, but I've put it in different sections. So it is capable of moving around. So yeah, that is another way of link. I'm linking within the web page. I'm not linking outside. I'm just linking within the web page. Yeah. So those are some of the tags that I wanted to talk about. Lastly, I'm going to talk about, they are called special like symbols or characters. For example, there's a tag they call footer that goes down. Footer. Yeah. So let me comment out these images. I don't want my page to be so much scrollable. So either I can comment them out or I can delete them. But let me just comment them out. Yeah, so when I come back here now, it's okay. It's no longer having those big images. Okay, so that's what they call a footer. So the footer, like the way you see on in Microsoft Word and everything, has the information and goes down. Now, this can have information like, it can be just a text that's saying all rights reserved. All rights reserved. Yeah, but you always see that copyright symbol. So how do you write that? You write ampersand or and, then you write copy, then comma, yeah, save. Then when you check, you can see that that symbol is there. That's how you create that symbol. Now it's not only that is written with that kind of format. There are very many. Maybe I want to show a trademark. I can say VMEDI and it is a trademark. Yeah, just VMEDI is just a text. Then I want to add a trademark symbol. I'll just use and, then put trade, then terminate. Save it, then you can see the trademark symbol there. Yeah, they are very, very, very many. There are very many of them, and we're not going to go through them right now. But just know there are very many. In case you just want space, it's NBSP, like that. So this one puts space. Let me write here same words like organization in Uganda. Now you can see that this is a default space I've put without NBSP, but here between organization and in, I've used NBSP to put a space. So let's check if it is there. And you can see that it is there. Yeah, so those are special symbols. Yeah, so those are some of the things I wanted us to cover, but I've told you, go and look for more tags so that you can code whichever you want. Yeah, we just wanted to introduce to you to HTML. We show you how it works. We show you a few tags. Then now it's the websites that you're going to build are going to depend on you, how creative you are and the research that you're making. Yeah, so after here, now I'm switching to CSS. Any question before we switch to CSS? You can ask any question from here. I can answer you straight away.
Hello?
Yes, please. Good evening.
Good evening, Mansour.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I had a question.
Yes, please.
See, my Zoom was lagging out, so I think I missed some content. But you see on the line number 426, what does the meta tag do? Meta, what does it do? That part I missed because it has flagged.
This one I've never explained it. Yeah, we shall go through it, but it just tells a web browser what it gives more information to a web browser.
Oh. Okay.
Like just here, it is telling it about the character set using UTF-8. Yeah, we shall get to that. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to CSS.
Yeah.
All right. So CSS. What is CSS? CSS means cascading style sheet. And what does it do? It styles the page. We've built HTML, but now we want to style it with CSS. Okay, so what do you need in order for you to style with CSS? Yeah. So I'm going to create here just a file that we're going to use for notes. Okay, just simple notes. Yeah, but I'm going to write, I think, let me write them exactly in the CSS, like a file. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are in the website folder here, and it is having another folder called images. Then these are files. So I'm going to come here and I create another folder, and that folder I'm going to call it CSS. Yeah, so sorry, I've created it in a wrong folder, though I can move it. Yeah, I'm supposed to create it here, exactly here. CSS. Yeah, so now I have this. I'm in the website folder. Then the HTML files are here. Then I have a CSS folder. So I'm going to go within the CSS folder and I create a CSS file. So a CSS file has .css. Now the way we call HTML, the default index, HTML page index, like the home page is called index. In most cases, this one will be called style.css. And you see that for it to have hash, for HTML to have this. That's if you're using this code editor, but you can do the same thing with Notepad. Just go to Notepad here, then save your file. Go to File, Save As, go to where I want to save, like on desktop, especially where you created the website to. Change to all files, then call it style.css, like that. Then save it. Yeah, so it is the same thing that I'm doing here, just that now I'm using a different text editor, just for presentation purposes. And now I have this. So we've learned how do you comment in HTML, and we said the comment is not included in a web browser. As it is executing, it does not mind about the comment. So that's what we're going to use to do notes here. Okay, so for CSS, this is how they comment. So you write your comment here. Then when you're crossing the comment, you use asterisk, then backslash, like that. Yeah, so I'm going to use this. It can go to different lines. Even that one of HTML can go to different lines, and we write some notes. Yeah. Now, a CSS has, you see, for HTML, we've been using tags. For CSS, it uses also some syntax. The syntax goes like this. It is going to have what they call a selector. Yeah, then you open these two braces like that. Then inside here, you're going to have what they call declarations. Yeah, now I just want you to follow. These may sound all new words, but later on you get it. Yeah, so inside, you're going to have a declaration, and that declaration is divided into two: property, then the value, like that. Then you terminate. So yeah, you can have another declaration also to ask for property, then you type in the value. So you can have as many validations as possible. So we've said these ones are called validation. They are called declarations, not validations. Yeah, they are called declarations in combination. Declarations. All right, so that's how you write CSS. An example will be now a selector. We're going to see there are like 4 to 5 types of selectors. What is a selector? It means in your HTML, you have to come and tell the web browser, what are you styling? So one of the selectors is called element selector. Yeah, so the element selector are the tags. If I'm styling body, like I'm giving more style to body, when I come to my CSS, I'll just write body like that. Then my declarations will go inside here. Now, if I'm styling like everything that has H1, I'll just type H1, then all my content will, like my declarations will be here. Examples of declarations, I can say color is equal to maybe red, like that. So this is like a full CSS content, or like a full declaration plus the selector. So this will affect all my words that have H1 element. So that is one of the selectors. Now, another selector is called, this is called element selector. Another selector is called a class selector. Now, a class selector will require you to come to HTML here, and you go to that tag. That's why most of the times we put everything in the container. So I can come to, okay, let me say I'm styling H1. Okay, I'm styling paragraph, this paragraph. So I'll come to this paragraph, then I type in class. I give it any name, any class name. So it is having more content. So I can just call it content, like that. So I've created a class on this, I've attached a class. Then when I come to CSS, I'm going to use my class selector. How do you use the class selector? I put dot, then the class name, content, like that. Then you put your declarations inside here. Yeah, then it can also be color, blue. It's not only about colors. It depends on what you selecting. If it is a word, we can have font size. We can have text alignment. Yeah, you can have as many declarations as possible. Then the last selector is called ID selector. Now there are others, but we're not going to cover them today. I don't want to introduce a lot of content. Yeah, so for it, you just come to the HTML element. For example, here you have another paragraph. I'm going to say another paragraph to be styled. Then I have to create an ID here. And I also call it any name. So I'm going to call it another. Then when I come to my CSS, I'll just use hash. For IDs, we use hash. And I put the ID name. Like that, then the declarations will come here. Yes, like that. So this is a syntax that you need to learn. Selector, then declaration. Declaration has property, then value. Property, then value. Yeah, that's how they write CSS. Any question or any confusion? Anyone with a question before we start now writing the real CSS? Okay, so I'm going to, okay, let me leave them. Now, how do you attach CSS into your HTML? There are 3 ways. The first one is you going to the element exactly. For example, here on home, I can come here, and this is called inline CSS. I can come to the exact element. Then I use what they call a style tag. Yeah, so within that style tag, now I start writing my declarations directly. Maybe it's about color, and I say the color is blue for this. Save it, then I come and check, you can see that home has changed to blue. So there CSS has worked. That is one way. Yeah, we can try it on another one, maybe this paragraph. Let's just use color just for simplicity, but there are very many declarations. So I'll come here, style, I can say, let me use text align. Yeah. Then text align means how do you want to align the text? So I'm going to align it to the right. Yeah. Then now I come here. So you can see that the text has been aligned to the right. This paragraph is going to be commented out. Yeah. It has been aligned to the right. Yes. Now, what if you have more than one declaration, the way we've seen here? How do you write that? It is written, you see this that terminates, even here it is there. It separates two, like two declarations. So I can as well come here. I'm done with text align. Just terminate, put a space, then you can write another declaration. So this is about color. So I'm going to change its color to red. Then I also terminate to show that that declaration is done. When I come now, it has changed to red. Yeah, so that is inline CSS. Now, it works, but it is not recommended. Why? It's going to be so hectic for you to go on each and every element to change it. And also, it's making the code now look so like complex. It's having a lot of code, having paragraph, I'm adding style, what. Yeah, so what is recommended? We're going to remove our inline CSS, but you know it works. Then we go to what they call internal CSS. Yeah, so what is internal CSS? Internal CSS is CSS that is written before the body tag. It's written within the head tag here. And it is written, of course, within the head tag, but enclosed in the style tag, like that. So whichever CSS you want to write it here. For example, I want to change the body. I want to design my body, and I say background color. Yeah, maybe the background color, let it be blue. Yeah, like that. So I've selected my element, that is the whole body. I want it to have background color blue, but you see where I've written it, I've not written it here. It works the either way, but I've written it up here. So when I come and check, yes, it has turned to blue. And now that is not impressive to look at. Let's just leave it white. But you've seen it works. Yeah. Then maybe I need to use a class or an ID. So I'm going to come here and I create a class. Like this paragraph is going to be commented out. I'm going to create a class, and I call that class commented. Just a name, because this is having commented out. Now I'm calling it that name, commented. And we said here, if you use classes in a CSS, use dot, then the class name, commented. Then I can write my declarations here. So I can say font size is one of the declarations. I can type in the font size to like 25 pixels. Then I go and check. Now you can see that it is bigger. It has not been like that. I can increase, and you see, can increase to like 35. Save, then come back. Now you see it is growing more bigger. Yeah. So let's leave it to 20. Yeah. Then now let's test. We test ID. So I'm going to come, I get any content. Yeah, this one has another paragraph to be styled. It has an ID of another. So I'm going to come here on top and I use hash another. Yeah, then I start writing here. So now let me use color for just its identification. Yeah, so that paragraph should turn red, this one, another paragraph to be styled. Yeah, so now this is called internal CSS. It is alongside the HTML file, but it's written before head. Yeah, so now this one is also good, but again, also not so much recommended. Why? It's making the file so big, and also it is making someone confused because you're going to first have to read CSS before you reach HTML. So what is recommended then? if all these ones are working, but they are not recommended. What is recommended? What is recommended is you to create a file outside here, the way we've created one here. Like I've created a CSS folder. Then within CSS, I've created a CSS file. So this is where we're going to be writing all our code. Then we write our code. Then there is a way we link this to our HTML file. Yeah, so I'm going to test this body and I use background color. And this time around, I'm just going to use maybe that kind of color, like that. Now, it's not yet linked. I'm going to go back. I shouldn't see that color in the background because I've not linked my file. Yeah, so I can't see it. Yes, so now let's come back and we try to style it. Yeah, so we come here. How do you attach it? You see where exactly we put the style tag here, in case you want to write internal CSS. Instead of writing that, just come within the head tag and you use what they call, it's a link tag, this one. It's called link tag. Then it takes attributes. One of the attributes is REL, that means the relationship. Yeah, so what is the relationship between this file that you linking to our HTML file? So for CSS, the relationship you should use is called style sheet, like that. Yeah, then another attribute is type. What is the type of that file, or what is the type of that like file you're linking here? So it is a text file, but it is CSS. Yeah, there is text JavaScript, but now this one is text CSS. And lastly, where is its location? So use href, then you go to its location. So it's located within CSS. It's located within CSS folder. Then the name is called style.css. Now I've linked, this is how I've linked my CSS file onto my HTML file. And now I have to write all the CSS in a separate file over here, but it will affect this. So let's save and we check. Yeah, now you can see that the background color has worked. Since it has worked, it means that this has been connected. So let's change the background to, okay, this is so weird, red, but let's do it just for testing purposes. Yeah, now you can see that it is working. So this is what is recommended. Create a CSS file separately, then link it with HTML. Now we're just going to write very, very few declarations because we're out of time. So I'm going to leave the background color to just some grayish color, that kind of color. Now this is an advanced editor. It can let me select the color, but don't over mind about that. You can just use your color codes. Yeah, so that's it. Then now we can start using our classes. You see, we already have class. This is called commented. I can just come here. We said for classes, we use dot, then the class name. So it's called commented. Then I can say text align. Then the text align, I can say please center it, like that. Then we check. Then it has centered it. Now I'm just going to create a button. Okay, let's just use links. You see here, when you are visiting something, now, okay, about us, click on about us. It would have brought us here around here, but we removed the images. Click on home, it goes back. Now, when you've not yet clicked a link like this one, it will be in blue. When you click it, it goes in a certain color. When you visit it, like when you visited the link, it goes in a certain color also. Yeah, so we want to style those ones and we dictate. We don't want to use those ones which are in the web browser. Yeah, so how do you do that in CSS? You come here, then see all the links, they use this this here. Yeah, they use this anch. So we're going to first use that Then if we say A and we don't add any other thing, it's just going to style whichever thing is in A. For example, let me give it color and I say black. I go back. Now you can see that all my links are now in black. All my links are now in black because they all start with A. But I don't want that. What do I want? I want to separate that when it is clicked, it should be in this color. When someone moves there, it should change to this color. When someone visits that page or that link, it should change to this color. How do you do it? That one is done by using what they call pseudo selectors. So within the selector, you can add another, like additional information. Yeah, you can see that they are there's a lot of information, but now we're just going to go to a few of what we're interested in. Yeah, so one is called link. So this one tells what should be the color of the link. Like your link should have what color. So I'm going to give them a color of blue by default. Like all my links should have a color of blue. So when I come back here, they have a color of blue. Yeah, like this, it is back now to that color. But now I also have to dictate and tell it if someone visits it, so it will be visited. If it has been visited, which color should it change to? Maybe orange. Let's say it changes to orange color. Okay. Here, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't leave a space. It should be like that. When you leave a space, it will not work. Yeah. So we go back, you can see that for the links that I've visited, they have changed to orange. Yeah. Now another last one could be, it's called hover. Hover means when someone moves a cursor around there, which color should that link change to? Let's say just red. Then maybe the background should change to black. Like when I move a cursor there on my link, the background should change to black and the link, the color of the link should come to red. We're going to see how that happens. You see, this is called hovering, taking a mouse there. So when I take a mouse, it gets a black background, then it changes to red. Why? Because it's what I coded. Like when you hover over it, change the color to red and its background to have black. If I change the background maybe to, okay, which may not be a good combination, but let's just try it. That one, blue violet. You see? Yeah, it works like that. So all this is done by CSS. And now I'm very sure you're going to start being so curious as you're visiting websites. You're going to see a lot of this behavior. Yeah, we don't have enough time to go through like creating buttons. Yeah, but we're going to look at that on Monday. We're going to look at more CSS on Monday. Yeah, so also CSS, you can validate it the same way you validated, the same way we've validated HTML. You can validate it from W3C. Just type in W3C like that. So, or you can just search directly W3C validator. Then you come and select what do you want to validate. Okay, let me first go to the direct page. I go to validators. Come to this. I can click on more options. I want to validate. Okay. let me just type it directly, or you can search it here in the page. I can say just W3C CSS validation or validator directly like that, so that we don't. Yeah, now it's going to bring for us where we validate CSS. So you can see here now it's validating CSS. Yeah, so paste our CSS, click on check. Yeah, there is no error. You can see congratulations, no error found here. So the CSS we are writing is CSS3. That is the version. In case there was an error, it would show me which error is that. Maybe the color does not exist. I can come here and I say, let me add some wrong, like here I can say, let me just type some wrong code like text. Let me just say just red. Click on check. It should bring that warning. Yeah, just now you can see we found the following errors. So it is querying about it. So that is the importance of validation. And it can show me which line, what is it complaining about, text does not exist. Maybe use left or right like that. Yeah, so that's how validation works. And this is what we've been able to create. It's not yet beautiful. Like I said, that CSS makes pages beautiful, but at least we've tried to start changing like the colors, changing out the content should look like without using the HTML tags, but with using CSS. Yeah. So do we have any questions before we close? All right. If there are no questions, then we meet on Monday. Thank you all for attending. Yeah. In case you have any issue, just raise it in the WhatsApp group.
All right, thank you very much, Mansoor.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.